Good morning, everybody. Here we are, the group stage coming to a close. It's the final day, Lacoste, and we've got a banger of a match as Beastcoast take on Team Spirit. Currently, both looking pretty good as the groups have progressed.
Yeah, pretty much. Beast Coast still looking like the best South American team. Team Spirit, after not the greatest day number one, they managed to bounce back, and I had personally high expectations from this team considering the way they played. It seems, similar to Virtus Pro, relatively young squad.
Mhm.
They have a captain who has a bit more
10
experience, of
seconds
course, but
remaining.
they are also very aggressive team, and we'll see.
5
This one's
seconds
definitely going to be
remaining.
interesting. Beast Coast had a good performance against Vici Gaming yesterday in
Oh, yeah.
game number 2. They managed to make a big comeback, I would say, and it was very overall interesting game.
Oh, that entertaining end,
It was.
right
It
down
was.
to the wire.
Beastcoast's
The
turn
Chris Luck
to
Wind
pick.
Ranger finishing the throne with a sliver of HP remaining. And no surprises with the draft. Beast Coast have banned IO Monkey in all but one of their games so far, and continuing that trend, while Team Spirit opting to take out that Whisper Timbersaw and the Lena for Chris Luck. And we get ourselves
10
a draft
seconds remaining.
opening here that has Tiny, Weaver,
Team
both available.
Spirit's turn.
And Beast Coast will grab the little Pebble Boy.
So no Timbersaw, one of the better counters to position one Tiny in the laning stage. Earthshaker is the most picked hero in the tournament so far.
Yeah, and Elder Titan's up
Earthshaker,
there as well.
EP, Snapfire, and Tidehunters, so it's a
10
possibility
seconds
that they
remaining.
grab one of those. Team Spirit, also their opener.
5 seconds
Yeah, they
A
like
couple
that
of times
ET.
was ET plus Tiny. Tiny, of course, not available, but we'll see what they decide to go for. Also, Weaver, one of the top tier picks, very flexible. Mostly, we see it being played as a
Это ты
position
тут самый
4.
умный, что ли?
Yeah, pretty solid opener there. What do you want to pair with this in your first couple of picks, though? Well, the answer for Team Spirit will be the Tide. So that's going to offer you the save from the Weaver with that Spirit Vessel, that Aghanims build, and then Tidehunter, just such a solid, stable hero, giving you some big team fight control.
You need to start thinking about how to counter Tide, whether you want to get maybe a Disruptor, so Static Storm is always going to be good, or you want to go more of a safe route where you get a
5
Doom
seconds
and just completely shut him down.
I guess Disruptor's probably easier to grab in the first phase, something Beast Coast have been picking up for Stinger. Gives you a couple of displacement tools, which they love doing as well, both Toss and the Glimpse, to move their opponents around the map. As Tiny here, most teams would say pretty much guaranteed position 1 safe lane Tiny, but I think Beast Coast, a team that yesterday did grab that Tiny up for Schofield in the position 4, so still flexible for them in terms of where they want to put the Tiny. Thinking about this second pick, like you said, wouldn't be surprised with a Disruptor, but they've grabbed up some interesting heroes, like Shadow Demon.
I still think you need to start thinking about
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. It's great against Weaver, the Glimpse back, the Static Storm, great against the Tidehunter, as I already mentioned, so it makes a lot of sense. And Disruptor has risen in popularity so far in their international. Let me just give you a bit of a stats. Disruptor, 59% win rate, 27 times picked, and also banned 50 times.
It feels like he wasn't
5
picked day 1 or
seconds
day 2,
remaining.
but days 3 and 4, he's really come out incredibly strong. Not a bad position 5 support either. Gives you tons of harassment in the lane. Creates a nice environment for your safe lane carry.
Beast Coast getting rid of Invoker. That means these heroes, Tiny especially, relies early on having the mana pool, and this is something that Team Spirit loves to play. Mars removed. Man, every single time I see Mars, I feel like the team is gonna lose, considering how bad of a win rate he has. He was sitting below 20%.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like Beast Coast with their win yesterday,
Yeah,
increased the win rate.
teams won with Mars. So right now he's at 30, which is not that bad. Still, anything below 50, if you're looking at the stats, you're like, well, maybe there are better heroes to be picked.
And there was a pretty interesting build from Whisper as well, right? The Meteor Hammer Rush. On
Oh yeah,
off-lane
he
Mars.
really popped off on the Mars, being very annoying on that bottom lane, putting a ton of pressure, taking the tower, and then spear into Meteor Hammer. He also decided to go for a shard. Very interesting build. I don't think we've seen anything like that so far throughout the group stage.
No, it was incredibly entertaining. Fourth ban for Beastcoast is going to be the Void Spirit, so a bit of targeting there towards the mid lane of Team Spirit. No Invoker, no Void Spirit. Heroes that are very good at running around the map, causing chaos. And of course, Invoker with that alacrity, so good at buffing up one of those position 1 carry heroes.
10 seconds remaining.
I see what Beastcoast is doing. They are actually banning spirits.
5
Yes,
seconds remaining.
Void Spirit. Invoker has Forge Spirit. Io has Spirits as the spell. I can't think of anything for Monkey King.
No.
Monkey King with Aghanim Scepter, you know, providing a spirit. Might be a spirit of the dead monkey.
Maybe there's something in the lore there.
There is probably.
The spirit of mischief.
I don't know
Animated by
any
the
lore.
Monkey
I
King.
actually don't know anything about lore. Started reading yesterday something about Pudge. Very interesting, however. Maybe I need to dig in.
What did you learn about him?
I learned that he had a squirrel as a pet.
Really?
Yes.
What was it?
No, he didn't. I just made that up.
I was going to say, what was the squirrel's
He
name?
doesn't like to eat fish. That's.
He doesn't
This
like
is
to
true.
eat
You know, he likes raw meat. He likes red
Red
meat.
meat, yeah.
Exactly.
You know, the butcher roaming around the battlefield, collecting corpses. Increase his strength. Another ban out for the mid lane. Leshrac gone now. So many of these tempo heroes that Team Spirit do like to play, especially along with the Tidehunter, would allow them to group up and play together as that 5-man
10
unit.
seconds remaining.
Team Spirit getting rid of Sven.
5 seconds
It's one of the
remaining.
better heroes against Tide also, where you have a BKB, you jump on him, even if he gets the Kraken shell off, you can still chase him down because you're super speedy, Mask of Madness, plus Warcry, and you have a ton of damage. So one way to get rid of the Tidehunter. Eventually, if this game goes on post 30-minute mark, if Tidehunter feels like he needs to get possibly a BKB against the Disruptor to be able to reinitiate even during the Static Storm, but you know, just a standard build might be also fine. You're playing into Tiny Disruptor, who already feels like a really, really good item.
And Team Spirit also respecting the fact, like we said earlier on, right, that Tiny could be Schofield's position 4 hero for Beastcoast here. I don't think we've seen K1 play the carry Tiny yet. So taking out, Hector heroes, Sven and Bloodseeker while grabbing the line for themselves. We've seen this draft opener plenty of times. Weaver, Tide, Lion, lots of ability to jump, catch, kill, and chase people down. And so strong when we've seen plenty of teams do this 5-man group up, whether you're pushing towers or holding a high ground, defending your triangle, playing together as 5. That we don't really have, split push or real open map gameplay. It's a lot of heavy team fight from all of these squads.
Lineup that Team Spirit has is very annoying to deal with. Playing into Lion, Weaver always going to be hard to catch. Tidehunter becomes super tanky early on, and then you need to bring numbers to kill him. If this is a position 1 Tiny, Tidehunter also has a completely free lane that there's nothing you can do about it. You can't kill him.
Yeah, Disruptor Tiny not going to be able to handle the Tide too well, especially if it's the Weaver 4. You're able to chase that Disruptor, block his pull.
You get caught out of a position with Weaver Tide. If this is Tide off lane, Weaver position 4, there's so much minus armor coming up from the bugs. Gush level 1, minus 3 armor. Got nerfed. It was minus 4 before, but still gonna feel really good.
Well, that's even more team fight. Again, the meta developing means we're having these big clashes. Of course, at TI, we expect that team fight execution is the be-all and end-all of this tournament, and we get the CK for K1. Do you reckon he'll do the same thing as the other day? Queue up the Treads Hand of Midas, first 20 minutes of the game in his quick buy?
Probably. K1, that's what he likes to do. Just thinks right now, before the game, I'm going to go for this. Rarely changes his mind. So they need something that can deal, some kind of AoE that can deal with the illusions. Tidehunter is okay with the Anchor Smash, but you also want to be able to, CK illusions are strong illusions, so they don't get dispelled by Lion. However, Darkseer illusions, they do, so Mana Drain, Hex are going to be valuable. I'm not sure if they want to have Weaver being played as a position 1 here. I think you need to get a different kind of a hero, and Morphling makes a lot of sense. One of the heroes that can sustain the Darkseer, one of the heroes that loves to farm underneath the tower, so makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, not too worried about the Ion Shell pushing into his lane. And if They've got that Lion to back them up as well.
10 seconds.
Could get a
remaining.
little bit nasty for Lion, though, with
Team
Ion
Spirits
Shell Tiny,
turn
the
to
toss
ban.
backs, and the ability there to play between the two of them. But Morphling, like you say, that self-sustaining safe lane are going to have a grand old time. Ember Spirit, who in the first couple of days went 9-1, 90% win rate, looked incredibly hot, has dropped a little bit, but still a very potent
10
hero.
seconds remaining.
And we don't have that much in the way of consistent catch here from Beastcoast, reliant on the Tiny
5
combo.
seconds
That's why they
remaining.
decided to ban
Turn to
Ember.
ban.
It's a good Kunkka game for Team Spirit. One way to deal with the illusions, you become super tanky, you have ways of protecting your Morphling with the boat.
And then having like X-Mark against Surge, having X-Mark against Glimpse, you know,
Yeah,
you've got
that's always going to be
outplay,
valuable.
outplay potential there. Like
10
X yourself
seconds
before you get
remaining.
tossed back by Tiny. Lots of little maneuvers that you can pull off.
5 seconds remaining.
And it does look like we need a mid laner for Team Spirit, so that's a good shout.
Spirits
We see the
turn
Storm
to
ban though,
ban.
so all three of the mid lane spirits gone. Void, Ember, Storm removed. And likely a Chris Luck hero going to be banned here. We haven't talked really about a mid lane Tiny because that's not what Beastcoast have been playing over the past year or two. Something that some other players do enjoy.
10 seconds remaining.
It could also be a Queen of Pain for
5
Team Spirit,
seconds remaining.
because they, as you said, they don't have much lockdown. There are no silences other than the Disruptor, no real reliable stuns. CK stun, Queen of Pain can blink away from it. Same goes for the Avalanche, and one of the reasons why they decided to ban all three spirits. And of course, you're playing against Team Spirit.
Yeah.
Beastcoast's turn to pick.
Oh, Batrider
Team
ban.
Spirits turn to pick.
A very snappy Ancient Apparition pick means it looks like it's going to be Tiny mid, doesn't it?
Yeah, looks like it. So Tiny on a mid lane will have his combo, like you go for a different kind of item build and a skill build. You don't max out your 3
10
grab,
seconds
so you will be
remaining.
able to burst Lion, burst Fever, even Morphling who loves to
5
play on low
seconds
HP.
remaining.
And Ice Blast, such a valuable ability against the Morphling.
I think Queen of Pain or Kunkka look super solid for Team Spirit. They only have 5 seconds left.
But they go for the
You
Doom.
now select your heroes.
We have seen a bit of Doom mid. Carl's been playing that plenty over on T1. So Collapse Tide, Toronto, Tokyo, Doom, yeah. So we'll get that fast BKB, Blink, Shivers Guard, the ability to run down into your opponents.
Usually it's the other way around.
It's a
when
mid
you're-
AA. That's Chris Luck AA.
Okay. Because South America, they love their position for Tiny. Schofield
Yeah.
always goes for those early wraparounds. He's very active. It's just boots of speed, making the moves all across the map.
I should have stuck to my guns. I've been saying the whole tournament that Chris Luck
This
just
is the
does-
future.
He doesn't know. He just doesn't play Tiny, right?
Yeah,
Beastcoast
you're right.
Don't
You've
play
said
the
it a
mid
couple of
Tiny.
times.
Oh, I said it 2 minutes ago, but I decided to change my mind.
10 seconds remaining.
Chris Luck, Ancient Apparition. We've seen
5 seconds.
we've seen
remaining.
glimmers of this from time to time, but what kind of item build do you go in this game? Is it Witchblade Aghanim's? Do you go? I don't know.
Witchblade is fine. Then he'll have to see how the game develops, but you also want to be able to scale. I think just farming up the Aghanims straight away might be a bit tricky. You have this global presence, so Tiny will need to be very active. Disruptor can set things up with the Glimpse into Static Storm, Ancient Apparition. His level 6 comes online quickly since he's being played at the mid lane. Toronto Tokyo should not have problems against Ancient Apparition. There's going to be some harassment. You always have Scorched Earth to run away. To go back to Doom against Darkseer, as I mentioned, there's been always like Darkseer picked against Doom. Doom wants to target most likely the carry or the mid lane. In this case, you don't care too much about the Ancient Apparition, so you're going to be throwing that Doom on a CK. There's going to be Surge coming out, so you might need to shift your target, go for the Darkseer
Especially if that Darkseer has some aura items.
to keep them alive. Yeah, if you have Guardian Greaves, different builds on Darkseer from what I've seen. Not a hero that has been picked that often, but there's been some Ag Rushes, or you just go for like the standard build. Even Helm of the Dominator sometimes works well, but yeah, Guardian Greaves, a lot of value from that item for sure.
I guess back in the day, it used to be like Greaves Pipe, you doom the Darkseer, and he's just completely out
It
of the
feels
fight.
good to be this good.
And here we go,
Feels
game one of
good
this
to be
best of
this
two.
good.
Beast Coast smoking, but not running down the mid lane. They are angling towards the dire triangle with some lines drawn out there by Stinger. Mira's Weaver Shikuchiing in towards the mid lane, looking for that very early Observer Ward. Try and get the vision, control the mid lane river. And try and make sure that nothing gets dewarded and you keep your vision up. Even scouting in towards the Radiant Tier 1 tower there, but Beastcoast continuing to wrap around. Whisper might show in the mid lane. Nice sneaky Observer Ward there. Oh, interesting. In a position that doesn't actually give Mira any information.
You ask what K1 is going to go for, and look at the item build on him.
Treads Midas. Sand just queued up too. Same thing every game. Sentry blocking that small camp mid. So Doom would have that additional bit of free farm. Beastcoast not finding anything just yet. Schofield going on a bit of a wander. Does get pinged and scouted out. And I think Team Spirit have realized that there's something funky going on. Collapse, spotted by Stinger. They do move on to the Tidehunter. Stunned and caught. Thunderstrike ticking him down, but he will survive. The Bounty Rune is going to go 2 for 2.
Has Healing Salve to work with. Gotta TP out to the bottom, use the Healing Salve, put those gauntlets in the backpack to be full HP. Efficiency is the key.
So Yatoro, that top lane Morphling, going to be supported by Miposhka. The Lion wanders back up top. Schofield sentries his small camp. We do have 2 sentries on the Lion though, so Miposhka is going to be able to not only deward, but also block the large camp if he decides that's what he wants to do. With Whisper on that Darkseer here. Could be a tough lane for the Lion with no boots, no movement speed, so positioning is going to be key. And that mid lane, of course, Crystal like Ancient Apparition against the Toronto Tokyo Doom. And down bottom, Stinger with K1 up against Collapse and Mira.
Toronto Tokyo should have a free lane here. 68 damage, 70 damage against Ancient Apparitions, 55. Gonna be able to free farm, already almost has enough money to buy a bottle. K1.
Yeah, down goes Collapse. Thunderstrike and Chaos Bolt. He'd already spent that salve, bringing out a little ring of regen. A rough one for Team Spirit, already in that bottom lane, and Collapse is usually their incredibly solid player. They've got a sentry there as well to spot the Weaver Shikuchiing around. They see him coming in and out. Tide will come back down here. What have they got? They've already got stick charges. They've got Wand on K1 completed. So good against the potential spam from Weaver and Tide, who do like pushing a lot of their spells early on.
K1 also has a belt and might even be able to buy the gloves. Gonna just bring the belt of giant strength. Gonna be a bit more damage. They're gonna go on him. 2-second stun. But the bugs. I love this build from Mira. You want to put in more damage. I also want to see Tidehunter getting a point in Gush, so they have a turnaround potential. Just hit level 2. Thinking about what he wants to get. There's the Gush.
Yeah, go for the aggression. What are you going to do? You're going to Kraken Shell off a Chaos Bolt and Thunderstrike potentially, but at that point the damage is probably already done. Level 1 Kraken Shell, 600 damage threshold. Mira playing with fire a little bit there, or playing with thunder. Taking so much damage. Tidehunter without a stick. Probably needs to bring one out to himself. What's Schofield up to? He's bought a smoke. He's sitting back in Fountain deciding where he wants to go. Darkseer has hit level 3. Oh, they're going to get a bottle refill.
Bottle
Very
refill.
Nice. Bottom lane
Miposhka.
again.
Never mind.
Mira, 2-second stun, but Stinger with the swarm on him has to fall back while K1 considering another move forward.
Miposhka needs to be careful. If they decide to play top lane with Tiny, the combo Iron Shell, which is level 2 plus Vacuum Back, plus a toss, they have so many repositioning tools. Every single hero except AA can move your hero somehow from the Beastcoast. Tiny, Vacuum, Reality Rift, Glimpse.
Oh, the toss back into Avalanche Vacuum. Miposhka down. Yatoro does have the level 2 attribute shift, so he'll be Oh, will
But
he?
the glyph?
Will he be okay? The creeps, you're right, they're kept alive. The adaptive strike pushes Whisper back. Tiny not going to be able to continue this fight, but Whisper just keeps on going on this Morphling. Level 2 Ion Shell doing some tremendous damage. Another long stun there, and Poshka's arrival back in the lane will send him back. And in the meantime, Toronto Tokyo has solo killed the AA mid.
That's big. That's pre-level 6. Once Doom decides to go on you, he also has a Thunderclap creep, had a Speed Aura creep, which gave him speed. Now having a big creep, going into Phase Boots. It's a rough one. Ancient Apparition sitting at the 19 CS, Doom 18. They need to make a rotation. Once Ancient
Lion.
Apparition hits level 6, oh, Lion again.
Yeah, and it's another two-man avalanche. Yatoro has the Darkseer tossed upon him, nearly dead, but survives through that initial onslaught. And this top lane is so potent from Beastcoast. Rough times. Morphling's still free farming though, isn't he? 27, 28, and 5 now. Having an okay time with that Morbid Mask into Falcon Blade.
Miposhka needs to run back. His TP is on cooldown for another 15 seconds. It's one of those feels bad moments. K1, bottom lane, full power treads. 2 points in Chaos Strike, more than enough to sustain. Disruptor also has Healing Salve, which will pop on K1.
Yeah, and Tidehunter with Chainmail, Double Gauntlet, tanking up against the physical damage. Oh, the lane pushes, trends towards that Dire Tier 1. I mean, Collapse can get a little more CS. Try and move towards level 6.
Radiant's courier has been
K1
killed.
does lose his courier. Another set of gloves arriving though, as of course he is heading Hand of Midas.
We have seen
Oh,
Tiny...
Ice Blast is coming.
Oh.
Who are they aiming for? As it collapses Tide, it will be Reality Rift into the stun, and that's going to be him dead. Another crit lands from K1. Good setup there, and well done by Chris Luck to line it up. He's
K1 doesn't care too much about Weaver, just decides to take a fight. Stinger, no regeneration left, so K1 will keep hitting the creeps.
There is a Doom here. Oh, but the cancel. Avalanche stops Toronto Tokyo from throwing the Doom on the AA. Now a toss back means that Miposhka's been isolated. Chris Luck still continuing to damage him and
Good
dodges
dodge.
the stun thanks to the haste rune, which was guarded by the Tiny. And Whisper, in the meanwhile, doing a tremendous amount of damage to Yatoro, really pressuring the Morphling. It's not a comfortable lane by any means. And a great job by Yatoro just to keep it steady.
Visper is enabling Schofield's game so much, putting Ion Shell on him, Surge. You don't even need to get like an early Blink Dagger. Even if you're not having a good time, you're going to have someone that's going to set you up for a good game. Also, Mana Boots plus Bottle, AA Blast.
And the Avalanche, he's dead, isn't he? Waveforming
He's
across,
dead.
but he's gone. Great toss. The creep just lands on his head, and Stinger, yeah, he's dropping your voice line left and right.
I gotta appreciate that. He really loves it. So, yeah, they need to be careful. AA, historically, always going to be good, and always was good against Morphling, anything that has a huge amount of heal. But Toronto Tokyo says, no, I'm having such a good time, no phase boots needed, going into Hand of Midas straight away.
Straight away, yeah. How far is K1 from it? Not too far. 300 gold away from his Midas. Looks like Collapse has ditched that bottom lane for a little bit just to clear the large camp. Comes back down as Mira gets bullied away by Stinger. A glimpse back in towards K1, who rifts and stuns. Mira's Shikuchi, it's about to end. K1 and Stinger don't have any more control though. Unable to find the kill and still under a dire observer ward, so Mira sees exactly what they're up to.
This is a dream position for a Tiny game, because your offlaner builds mana boots. Tiny needs so much mana. You use your combo, you need to have constant clarities running on you. He's bringing a stick and a raindrop to have even more mana sustain. Oh, Miposhka.
But the Doom, in comes Toronto Tokyo.
Can he
making
deny
sure
him?
that Whisper can't get anything more done here. They don't get the deny, so Whisper dies. Schofield has a toss and he'll throw the Doom off to the left. But Miposhka lands the stun through the trees. The raindrop gets popped down, but Schofield dead to the Lion.
First Doom of the game used, offlaner killed. Hand of Midas already done. Toronto Tokyo is going to be huge this game.
Oh, yeah, he's already used it once, right? 8-minute Midas. Level 3 Devour. As the Morphling, maneuvering himself through the jungle, finds himself a possessed mask, while Mira in that dire triangle, chased down by Stinger with a nice kinetic field. Ice Blast flies across from Chris Luck, and a very simple pickoff gives him the killing spree.
K1 gonna check for any stacks, pops the ulti. Every single time he plays CK, ulti is available. Gonna use it, keep farming. He's not afraid. Same goes for Sven. Whenever he plays these heroes that have ulti that actually amplifies his farming abilities, he's not afraid to use it.
Dire even scanning. Clips on the illusion, so they know Beastcoast were in the vicinity. Decent amount of farm down bottom to be picked up here by Stinger as he closes
Meanwhile,
in at
top
level
lane,
6, and they're going
Whisper.
in onto Whisper. Miposhka and Yatoro. They can't find him though. Surging back through the tree line.
It feels good to be this good. It
Whisper
feels good to be
escaping.
this good.
And they've brought numbers up here as well. Schofield's arrived. Ice Blast from Ancient Apparition in 5 seconds. Just an avalanche for now. And
Oh, lost the vision.
Schofield stunned up. Yatoro does get the combo onto Schofield, but the toss back delays any further aggression. K1, of course, top of the net worth. 10 minutes in at 6,100. Even against a Doom with Devour Midas, K1 still finds a way
K1's
to...
an insane
It's
player.
ridiculous.
Like this is Doom that has been involved in 3 kills and has a hand of Midas, and as you mentioned, the Devour on top of that, somehow he still manages to outfarm him.
Like, that's 210 GPM on the Doom, just from Devour, and still, K1's up there. Mira hiding away bottom, leeching some experience from the lane, scared of this K1 plus Stinger combo. As an Ice Blast I see flying towards the Morphling, doesn't land, and they nearly vacuum him back into it. But it'll be Schofield looking for another angle in towards the trees. Yatoro waveforms back. Can they get the glimpse? It's level 2. Bit of miscommunication there, maybe. Whisper surged in, but Stinger didn't think he could continue forward. Well, down at bottom, they get the Doom onto K1. 3 heroes surrounding him. Yeah, he's done for. Good maneuvering from Team Spirit. Surviving on the Morphling, dodging the gank, while killing the position 1 of their opponents at the same time.
Beastcoast managed to get the tower, no kill on Morphling whatsoever, but Team Spirit, they do not have a catapult, so that means they won't be able to push the tower, which is full HP.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for them. Coming out of the laning stage, pretty dead even between these two teams. Witchblade is there for the Ancient Apparition. And again, very curious to see what he goes next. Witchblade, like you said, is a good grab for him.
Yeah, it's a must-have item on a mid. Ancient Apparition, could be Kaya Sanj, could be Aghanim Scepter.
What about like a BKB or a Lincoln's? Did you consider those defensive options at all here as a second item?
I don't think it's necessary this early on. You have a good front line. You also have saving tool from the Darkseer. Surge if necessary. There's also mech.
Or the Radiant Scan. They pass by the Weaver.
Ancient Apparition, ulti flying to the bottom lane.
Who are they going to find first? Miposhka collapsed. Toronto Tokyo tumbles Toy back. Great Earth Spike, but Miposhka still stunned up. Killed off as Stinger has blown up Yatoro. Now a Static Storm. Ravish to turn it around, but it's nowhere near fast enough. They pop the mech and they turn and fight. A 4-hero sweep by Beastcoast as Collapse is stunned yet again by K1. Stinger with a triple kill, and Morphling died over in his own triangle. They took 2 fights at the same time.
Yeah, there's a ward scouting him out. He's been farming Ancients and Ancient Apparition. Just sent the ulti, plus Stinger was there ready. So many kills. They managed to... Was that a full team wipe or was that a 4 kills?
4, yeah. Weaver, the only survivor. 2,000 net worth swing, like 3,000 experience going into this Radiant team. Was it Disruptor solo killing the Morphling, by the way?
It was Ancient Apparition Blast as well.
That makes sense.
Glimpse back.
Nice. Send him to Fountain. Lion TPing in here, and they've got Weaver from the left-hand side arriving to battle with Stinger. Earn charge and the Swarm. Good Earth Spike catching Docs here. And Stinger with no glimpse.
Finger is available.
Gonna get right-clicked down by the Weaver. Can they finger down Whisper? They absolutely can, and Stinger dies to the Shikuchi.
They stayed there for a bit too long. They needed one core to be able to kill the tower. When I say core, Darkseer is not a core that deals that much tower damage. Maybe a K1, but K1 has his own place in the jungle. Reason why he's still sitting at the top of net worth. Sanj done, full. He has Blades of Alacrity and also a BKB queued up. So that's gonna be SNY into a BKB.
Gonna be incredibly tanky. Not just him, but his illusions as well. And he's got a little bit of stack in it. Ancients and large cap. That's pretty much going to be his SNY complete when he finishes this. If he decides to go that avenue. Miposhka coming into mid. Try and sit just behind Yatoro here to defend the Morphling, who has had a pretty rough time the last few minutes. Now dipping to 4th place in the net worth. Doom's BKB going to be pretty important this game, though, against the wombo combo of Beastcoast. Will allow him to just run towards the target and get the Doom off.
Once that BKB is online, Team Spirit will try to go and seek for a fight.
Yeah.
They, like Doom, deals so much damage with the Scorched Earth, has Alpha Wolf, as a creep Ethan. Ravage is available. Ancient Apparition Blast.
Nearly. They spend the Static Storm, but they don't trap the Weaver in the field, and they miss out on the Vacuum.
Schofield is way too deep.
He's so far forward. He wants his blink real badly here. Oh, can he juke this? There's no way. Surely he doesn't get out of this. The Earth Spike comes, and Yatoro, he's just going to wail away at the Tiny, break him apart, turn into gravel. And we're getting close to these blink daggers on initiation heroes for both teams, as Whisper, trying to defend that bottom lane, dies to Collapse and Mira. Ravage got used.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Mira is extremely high level for a position 4, level 10. Has a full Spirit Vessel done, so that's gonna reduce the healing from CK, which is gonna be very important. The overtime damage, Doom popped on AA.
And a BKB to charge them down. Mira coming in with Miposhka as well. They glimpse the Weaver back. Schofield trying to toss the
back.
AA away, but he's still dead.
Radiant's bottom tower.
That BKB from Doom, exactly as you said. He gets it, he runs at his opponents, guarantees the Doom, and claims the kill.
There are no abilities that go through Magic Immunity that can stop him. There's Ancient Apparition Blast, but that doesn't do too much. Doom's still gonna run you down.
And some good control in that bottom lane as well. Killing Whisper allows that tier 1 tower take, push in, and claim a bit of that Radiant jungle. While mid tower,
Has fallen.
take it down by Beastcoast. Does crack that middle of the map wide open, so the availability to move into triangle or top jungle is there for BC.
Radiant are scanning. Dire's middle
And there's
tower
Tiny's
is under
blink.
attack.
Expecting a move from Beastcoast. They've got smoke ready, they've got ultimates all available, but that top lane, Chris Luck not expecting the move in from Yatoro and Miposhka. K1 wants to try and get a bit of retribution up here. The vacuum into stun will come. Miposhka will gladly trade his life for that AA though, especially when he gets his blink dagger just before he dies.
A lot of action happening on different sides of the map. Schofield, still smoked, uses a Blink Dagger. I don't know if they can kill Weaver. Weaver's super tanky with this kind of a build. Also going into Aghanim Scepter straight away. Point booster done. Infused Raindrop, also being able to protect himself against Schofield's burst damage.
Oh, Toronto Tokyo, he caught a glimpse of the Tiny there. Hand of Midas off cooldown, has to wait 10 seconds for the cap to respawn. Some pretty good vision coming out from Beastcoast now. Deep Observer Ward in that top jungle. But with 2 supports showing up there, it might give away the fact that they have placed vision. And the Dire Observer Ward sees Whisper and Schofield readying themselves for a fight up top.
Is under attack.
Team Spirit has a very good read. What's happening on the map? No one is playing top part. They understand there are a couple of heroes. Even Miposhka has a Blink Dagger,
Yeah.
which is very impressive online. Level 11. 5k gold lead for Team Spirit.
That kill up top on the AA was super important because he got the Blink Dagger money just before he died to the
Oh,
CK.
look what Chris Luck has queued up.
What is it?
Hand of Midas.
Hand of
Under
Midas.
attack.
Well, double Midas for Beastcoast.
It's gonna be a late one.
Well, what does that indicate? They want to go later into the game then? Try and drag this one out against a Morphling and a Doom?
Morphling Doom, and you know Tide is going to have a refresher. I discussed about the item build from the Tide Hunter during the pick and ban phase. You're playing into Disruptor, and we've seen yesterday also Tide Hunter with a BKB. It sounds stupid, but in this situation, it's kind of unnecessary.
Cheeky little Schofield here has popped their smoke. They don't know where he is. Well, now they do. They ping out where he was.
This is something that Jerax has always been good at with his Earth Spirit, because he could get out of the trouble with the roll. And Schofield, very impressive. Smoke breaker.
Yeah, incredibly well done. Something that we praised him for throughout the first 2 seasons of DPC was the ability to play the enemy side of the map. Not really too worried if he dies or not. I'm not really looking for kills, just information. And that allows K1, of course, to continue farming. With BKB ready now, though, it feels like Beastcoast probably want to prepare themselves for a team fight. TPing into mid.
Finger bottom.
And a kill onto
one.
Whisper. Trying to catch Collapse, but Toronto Tokyo, he's in onto Stinger. Disruptor spent his spells. Oh, Invis with a Glimmer Cape. And no more chase. Team Spirit want to continue, though. Miposhko with a good Observer Ward placed. Was looking in towards that mid lane. They've glimpsed Mirror into the Avalanche, but where's the toss? There it is. Time-lapse back allows the Weaver to slip away.
It was a tough one to execute there. There's no Static Storm. Disruptor already used it. Weaver is tanky. Had time-lapse available, and also there is a counterplay. Collapse was sitting very close with his Blink Dagger. And Ravage available.
It does mean, though, that Team Spirit don't really get anywhere on the map. They don't push Tier 1. They're coming back to defend that top lane and try and push out waves. Whoa, Collapse blinks away. K1 nearly getting the hit on him.
Level 10 talent on CK, the new one, Reality Rift Pool Distance, is really good. It doesn't sound like much, but you draw them so much closer.
Yeah.
Miposhka farming the top lane. There is a smoke coming from Beastcoast, which got popped.
It did. Collapses in with a Ravage. Toronto Tokyo going to throw the Doom onto Whisper, so no Mac, no Vac, no wall or anything. K1 battling with Collapse. Pops his hood, but the physical damage is substantial from that CK. Well, Yatoro gets out the tiny combo, but K1 is just whacking them down. Finally, one of Beastcoast will fall. Team Spirit, they've got this massive Morphling, BKB'd up, trying to play as the Tiny. But a 2-for-1, which Beastcoast will gladly take.
Doom had to choose the target. You either go for Darkseer or you Doom CK, who already popped the ulti, so you can't really find the real one. And Darkseer in the end lives, pops the magic wand, pops the mech. It was 4-man Ravage. Still, they can't fight CK. CK at this point of the game a bit too strong with the BKB and the illusions. Weaver tried to run down the Darkseer, but no Spirit Vessel charges left. They need to play around CK. They need to be able to just drag out the team fight and deal with the rest first. Ideally, you want to kill out AA and Disruptor before they get the spells off.
Yeah. And Beastcoast want to try and survive the Ravage, survive the Doom. Yatoro after BKB going SNY. So not an E-Blade game, just going maxing out stats, getting tankier and tankier. Go for the right-click physical damage build. Beastcoast see Mirror's Weaver. Schofield trying to shove out that mid lane. And Beastcoast into the Roche pit. They've got some really good vision here to control the zone around Roche. And it doesn't look like Team Spirit.
Team Spirit's not going to contest this. No Doom,
Ravage?
no Ravage.
Yeah.
They just don't have the tools to deal with this. Ancient Apparition. Hand of Might is done. Holding a big boy Philly as well. All the free gold in the world. I mean, it reduces your farm to one extent. You have extra damage coming out from the Chilling Touch, so it's kind of okay. Usually your position 4 Tiny would love to hold it because he does not deal damage, does not have attack speed to do it. Or if you want to give it to Disruptor to be able to farm his Aghanim Scepter, that's going to be the big one.
Tons of money for Chris Luck, yeah, 9,000 net worth. As always, we see that K1 carry right at the top. Miposhka dusting up Stinger, but a Static Storm quickly makes sure he doesn't get stunned, and he glimpses the Lion back with a toss forward. Now, Miposhka fingering Stinger and finishing him off. K1 gets stunned, the Ice Blast comes across, and they do clear up the Lion in a 1-for-1 trade-off.
Dire's top tower
Team
is
Spirit
under
on the run back now, though.
Just a 5-for-5 trade. Big item on Darkseer. Now they have a Lotus Orb going into a Blink Dagger. So once you pop that on yourself, it's going to be a big protection against Doom. Lotus Orb is probably the best item if you're playing against the Juggernaut and Doom. Just overall, you can't use ulti. You know what's the counterplay, Gary? You get Lincolns.
Lincoln's the Lotus.
By Lincoln's and Doom, I'm just kidding, I'm being sarcastic. Doom should get Shiva's Guard, and his next item needs to be Refresher, because Shiva's Guard gives you that mana pool that you need to use 2 ultis.
Yeah, the double Doom. And then you can absolutely throw Doom onto a Disruptor as well as a core. And Chris Luck, 3,000 gold has just appeared. Out of pretty much nowhere, thanks to this Midas and Philosopher's Stone, creating more money than what's naturally on the map.
He's going for Aghanim Scepter. Just bought a point booster.
Ah, that's what he's bought. Very nice.
After he finishes his Aghanim Scepter, should give Philosopher's Stone to his Disruptor. To speed up that Aghanim Scepter, Disruptor going for it, having the point booster. Stinger has been very active. He managed to get a triple kill as well. One of the reasons why he's so farmed as a position 5, Glimmer Cape and the point booster.
It feels good to be this.
And K1, like you said, rallying his team around him. With an Aegis up for 2.5 minutes, they'll glyph their own creep wave to push tier 2. Utilizing that double life CK to carve out a bit of this dire side of the map for themselves. Schofield even moving forward, seeing if there's anyone lurking in the shadows. But Team Spirit wisely on the opposite side of the map, taking a tier 1 top and potentially looking for mid, but they can't go for it because they have to defend. They have to come back. Tied with the Aghanim Scepter. He moves forward with a Blink Dagger, but Collapse blinks away.
Look at Chris Luck's positioning.
Oh, jeez.
He just wants to be able to land a big ulti, trying to find the perfect angle. CK, I don't think they can take this fight. They can try to go in, use the Gush with the Aghanim Scepter, but damage coming out from the CK is a bit too much. 1.5 minutes left on that Aegis.
He's just pummeling these buildings. 27 minutes in, we're getting a full lane of barracks here. The Beastcoast just easily grab. Yeah, not just the position of Chris Luck, right? All 4 of these Beastcoast heroes sitting incredibly far back. So Team Spirit don't really have a way into the team fight.
Miposhka was trying to go for a deny.
Good attempt. Doesn't get it done. We still have a minute left on this Aegis, so we could see Beastcoast come in for the mid-tier 1. But you've got to respect the team fight of Team Spirit. With Blink Ravage, with his Doom having Shiver's Guard, and like you said, Refresher Orb queued up for the latter stages of the game.
Now Chilling Touch is permanent, and it also reduces the mana cost in half, so you can keep spamming it.
He hasn't handed the Philosopher's Stone off yet, though. Shadowblade now queued up for Chris Luck. Oh, a Titan Sliver. CK loves a bit of that. And again, K1 frontlining, battering into that backdoor regen. But Team Spirit, they know the time. 20 seconds on Aegis. Preparing for a team fight. Smoking as 4. And making a long looping action around as a DD rune has spawned bottom. Chris Luck always shows, but Schofield's there to try and blow up Miposhka. Toronto, Tokyo, though. Nice Lotus Orb onto Chris Luck. Stops any kind of play, but he's still sliced in half. As K1 aims Collapse. No Ravage because he's in the Static Storm. The Vacuum back secures the kill. No teamfight ulti from Team Spirit. A 2 for 2. The buyback from Tide. They want to fight this. They've got the Doom on K1. No Aegis remaining, but he's got a Heart of Tarask. Now the Ravage. Collapses in. Finds Stinger. Oh, they split their targets, but they've gone back onto the CK. There it is. Toronto Tokyo will stun up Whisper, cancel the TP, and Team Spirit will get a huge wipe here on Beastcoast.
It was such a nice wraparound from Team Spirit. They find both of the supports. Static Storm is used on a Tidehunter who was forced to use the buyback. We're going to see that again. Great Lotus Orb reflects Lion stun, but in the end, Doom just dealing a bit too much damage at that point. CK focusing down Tidehunter, what needs to be done. So Tidehunter might think about, yeah, you see, if you're watching, his item build was BKB, then he farmed quite a lot of gold, decided to go for the Aghanim Scepter, now understands, well, this Static Storm is going to ruin my hero, one of the reasons why they decided to pick it, and has a BKB queued up next.
Great turn of events for them.
That was a full team wipe. 30 minutes in, Tier 1 tower was still standing, so Team Spirit decided to go in and take that one. Next Roche may respawn in 2 minutes. This is going to be the big fight for whoever takes it. Oh,
wow.
Schofield.
Yeah, Yatoro with a freshly purchased Scardy just straight over the top of the Tiny. That Dire Observer Ward paying dividends as Beastcoast on the back foot.
Has been killed.
Starting to feel a little worse for wear. When they were pushing high ground, there was, I mean, Team Spirit, we can see here, have been in the lead for the majority of this game. You know, Beastcoast get Aegis, Beastcoast push high ground, they take a lane of barracks. They were still 4k behind. And now with that team fight victory for Spirit in the mid lane, 11,000 is the lead they have right now. And it comes down to this multi-core lineup. Morphling and Doom, both given farm priority. Whereas Beastcoast have shoved all the gold down the gullet of K1.
Ancient Apparition as a core, like there's a reason why this hero isn't that popular. I think this might be the first one. Is you need so many items. Like you need to be able to protect yourself. Going into BKB next, which is fine, so that you can't get stunned, no Ravage. Still very vulnerable. You get going on by either like position 4 Weaver in this game can solo kill you.
Spider legs on Whisper. Would Titan Slaver on the AA, Paladin Sword over on that CK. That's pretty nice as well. Psychic Headband for the Weaver. So we're going to have that long range time lapse to save people.
And also Shard is upgraded, which means you can
Oh,
hide.
Ravage! Collapse with Yatoro. Short work made of the Whisper Docs here. Phantasm with an Ice Blast flying. K1 fighting, but no, he decides to try to TP. Optimistic, to say the least, as Team Spirit will find a third one. Schofield offers himself up to the gods. And Roshan, 30 seconds to respawn, means Team Spirit can move out onto the map.
Perfectly
out the
timed
waves.
Gush by Collapse. BKB from CK was running out, drops the Gush, and that's what actually kills him. They're one barracks down. That's something that's being pinged. A lot of drawings on a minimap, but Team Spirit, they feel in full control of this game. A lot of, as you said, eggs in one basket. CK super farm, 21k net worth, 22.
Just round it up.
I can't believe how farmed he actually is. Even after losing 2 team fights in a row, he's still at top of net worth.
Yeah, that's insane.
Radiant's middle tower.
Evening things out, Team Spirit will claim their first lane of barracks, the mid lane. And top tier 2 is dropping pretty quickly, but I believe they know Roshan is alive. Toronto Tokyo will definitely be able to scout it out as he clears a camp and pops into the pit. Beastcoast scan this. Are they going to get there in time? Because they still have to wait 5 seconds for the respawn of K1 and a dire
Doom Refresher
Observer Ward.
is available, plus Shiva's Guard. This is so big. You jump on 2 targets. Your targets are CK and Darkseer.
Roche is dead.
It goes down so quickly. Doom now with the
There's the jump
Shard.
from Schofield, the vacuum combo! Oh, it's glorious! Ice Blast
That's
on the
beautiful.
3 of them too! Collapse is dead, another one drops as Miposhka's found. Yatoro on the run back away. Ice Blast ends on him, but the Reality Rift back in. As Schofield tosses this Weaver around, another avalanche and another death. Reality Rift Yatoro now. He is holding Aegis on the Morphling. First life gone. Toronto Tokyo with double Doom available, but he's being stunned and controlled. Beastcoast execute Team Spirit. Yatoro now trying to fight, but this is just disastrous for them. Oh, the glimpse back in. K1 BKBs, he still held on to it. targeting towards Miposhka. Lion gone for an ultra on K1. Yatoro is still up and running. Beyond godlike Morphling, but with no Aegis. And Whisper comes in.
Linking in with the spider legs.
Steals
Oh man,
the gem.
that combo. Imagine if that was Aghanim Scepter combo. Also Disruptor, you're kind of preparing for it. He just hit level 15. If you had 2 seconds Static Storm duration, it could have been even like a bigger W for the Beastcoast. And now he has it. Now he's holding the big boy Philly. Aghanim Scepter is available, so read the description of the item, Gary.
1 second. 8,000 damage by K1. 2,000 gold into his pockets. 4.5 grand swing. What did you want me to look at?
Aghanim Scepter. Oh, there it is. We're gonna see it again. It was actually 5-man, but two BKBs they managed to get out.
So good from Beastcoast.
Oh yeah, Aghanim Scepter Disruptor. Read the description, Gary.
Mute items.
Very nice.
And that's going to be incredibly good against those BKBs you just mentioned. Man, oh man, oh man. A little bit of a swing back towards Beastcoast. They're still at a deficit in terms of net worth, but as we see, their team fight execution. Beautiful to behold. Team Spirit will be all alive again in a couple of seconds. Lion respawning soon.
Big talent on CK. Level 20, Reality Rift pierces spell immunity. So that means you can rift them inside the Static Storm. They still have a BKB, but maybe if it's about the end, it's very nice.
Spirit wanting to make some moves here. They smoked, expecting Beastcoast to hang around in that dire triangle, thinking about what the objective is next for the Beastcoast side.
Weaver's positioning needs to be perfect, and it's going to be much easier with the Psychic Headband that you mentioned, the extra 100 cast range, and also decided to pick up a Blink Dagger. So you will be able to jump in and use it on someone who gets focused down by CK and the Static Storm.
Whisper heading into Lincoln's next. Lotus Lincoln's against this double Doom.
Yeah. Double Lincolns, one on Whisper. Still yet to be finished, but K1 has one already going into Silver Edge, so can also be able to surprise them in the back lines.
And then probably going to sell his treads to get Scardy a little bit later on. Man, that second Roshan didn't last long now, did it? 4.5 minutes until fast spawn. Toronto, Tokyo. He is all alone here. Reality Rift drags him back, but his BKB's been forced while Team Spirit, they're scrambling to get across the map. The refresh,
the BKB.
He gets himself away from the glimpse. In he jumps with a wall stomp towards K1, but the physical damage.
He's
onto
stuck.
Toronto, Tokyo, he's dead. Collapse will ravage and catch Stinger and Whisper, but K1 is annihilating them. Mira now in trouble. Yatoro goes in. They want K1 real bad. They'll gush him and slap him down with the anchor smash. Collapse and Yatoro onto Chris Luck, and he stuns, yes, with the adaptive strike. A double kill for the Morphling.
Oh man, Toronto Tokyo buys back, uses double BKB to get out of the trouble, still dies in the end, and also pops the Doom on a Lincoln's first CK, and they still manage to win a fight. Static Storm this time around, not as effective as the previous one, but they managed to kill Weaver. Oh man, what a game, what a game. It's just back and forth, even though they have 16k gold deficit, Beastcoast, they're still striking back.
There's a long old time though with no Darkseer, no CK, and no buybacks for either of them.
Morphling, Refresher Orb on him. Not the build that you see every single day, but double BKB, and he's also level 25, which means 2 waveform charges, so you have 4 waveform charges.
Quadruple waveform charges, double BKB, but they're going for the game end. Tier 4 towers under assault as Team Spirit looks to finish this game off. And again, there's 3 heroes dead still for Beastcoast and no real answer, while Schofield gets picked off by Collapse. Tiny. What can he do? Blink tossbacks? Stinger has a static storm, but yeah, buildings are falling at a drastic rate. There's Collapse with a BKB. The static storm's in, but Schofield's
BKB's
about to die.
Popped. That's a
Yaturo's
GG.
too big at this point. Takes down the throne, and Team Spirit take game 1.
Beastcoast, they fought back even though they were always behind in terms of gold and XP. But yeah, in the end, Morphling, this is not your usual item build. It was really good, just going for that more status resistance oriented build. No E-Blade this time around, so that he can stay in the fights for a long period of time, try to dodge AA's blast. That's what matters. Beastcoast also, they showed good team performance, good synergy in executing the combos. Maybe they needed that Aghanim Scepter a bit faster on Stinger to be able to just mute the items, especially the BKBs, because we saw it was a 5-man vacuum into Static Storm, but unfortunately 2 heroes with the BKBs were able to get out.
Yeah, and it felt like the Chrysalok Ancient Apparition, you could see why they picked it against the Morphling. It felt good at times in the game, but going into that mid to late game, it's not a core hero, especially if you don't have that tremendous amount of farm that Morphling and Doom did. So Team Spirit taking game 1 in this best of 2. We'll have a quick break and return with a second match. Welcome back to Team Spirit against Beastcoast. A frantic display, some big wombo combos from Beastcoast, but a very, very calm, collected performance from Spirit coming out in the end with a refresher BKB Morphling.
Yeah, he didn't have anything else to refresh. Yeah, he was level 25, so 4 waveform charges, which is always nice. But it was just mostly
10
BKB to
seconds
be able to stand his ground and take the fights, not care too much.
5
So that's a
seconds
12-second BKB. It's still hard for me to, not say 5-second BKB or a
Yeah.
10-second BKB.
9 and 6 now. Now that change still relatively new in terms of Dota's history. Timbersaw, IO yet again being banned out. I wonder if Team Spirit banned Monkey King, what does Beastcoast do? Like, oh, we don't know what to ban anymore. Because they've been banning IO Monkey every single game.
Yeah, they were. Team Spirit, I'm having a feeling they're going to go for Night Stalker this game. Venomancer banned out. Could potentially say, we scrimmed against you. We saw you play Venomancer plus a Tinker, which is super popular. Not,
Team Spirit's turn to
the top tier kind of a strat, but it's something that a lot of teams are afraid of, especially the Night Stalker, Tinker plus the Venomancer trio. You have a hero that runs in, spam, and the overtime damage. Lion this time around banned from the Beast Coast. There is Monkey
10 seconds
available.
remaining.
There's also Tiny and Weaver, though.
5 seconds
So
remaining.
many options, and I love it when we start developing this situation in the meta at the end of the group stage. You start taking out these respect bans, leaving in some of the more potent meta heroes. But if you're leaving, 3, 4, 5 heroes, you're like, you get 1, we get 2, then we start banning out some other ones.
They could just get Tiny, something that Team Spirit did whenever, not gonna say always, but if it's available, Tiny plus ET this time around. We'll swap things around a bit, going for Weaver.
Yeah,
It was
favoring
very
that.
annoying in the previous game.
He was
and
so
he
farmed.
was extremely farmed, getting that Spirit Vessel plus Aghanim Scepter, and then being able to use Time Lapse, bought a Blink Dagger in the
10
end to be able to
seconds
close the gap,
remaining.
and stay a bit further away from any kind of danger.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, keeping his Morphling and Doom alive, even through that Static Storm, Ice Blast. And Beastcoast now
turn to pick.
come back with a Mars. So Whisper Mars,
Maybe a Disruptor on top of it. No.
Tiny. So
Mars Tiny. Seems like Beast Coast really loves to have heroes that can reposition.
Yeah, they do. I mean, during DPC, they ran a strat numerous times where they had Magnus, Tiny, Mars, and then sometimes with a Disruptor. You couldn't push high ground against them. Like, they'd be 20k net worth behind,
5
enemy team
seconds
pushing
remaining.
high ground, and they'd spear, toss, glimpse, chuck you into fountain.
It has to be perfect execution.
It didn't win them games, but it looked fun. Team Spirit, what do you do now? You're up against this Mars and Tiny. You can expect the Schofield position for Tiny. You can expect the Whisper Mars. Occasionally we see Chris Lock grab it for the mid lane, that Mars.
Say your
but
line about Tiny and Beast Coast.
Chris Lock never plays
Team
it.
Spirit's turn to battle.
That's a Winter Wyvern, though. So are these the two supports from Team Spirit, or do we finally see the Carry Weaver? It's an option, right?
It definitely is. Me and Gary are joking because whenever
10
Weaver is picked, we
seconds
just
remaining.
don't get to see position 1 every single time. It's a position 4.
Yeah, but the thing is, we
5
have these
seconds
conversations on
remaining.
stream, and we say, could be IO3, could be Weaver
Beastcoast
1, and then
On our stream,
we
it
don't-
never is.
We don't see it on our stream. We go and sit in the green room with all the other talent, and all of a sudden, the game we're watching, out pops the thing we were talking about.
Winter Wyvern, kind of a forgotten hero.
Team
It was super
Spirit's
popular,
turn
got
to
nerfed.
ban.
Right now, at TI, day 4, 8 times pick, 87% win rate.
87.
87.
Dear Lord. Do you know what kind of item builds they're going? Is it still that holy locket with a cold embrace?
Yes.
10 seconds
It's still super
remaining.
popular. I mean, you get the healing got reduced,
5
the
seconds
shard
remaining.
also got nerfed, level 10 talent got nerfed, but still in the end, very, very strong hero overall. And it's good against Tiny. Tiny relies on dealing heavy physical damage. If it's a core Tiny, and then you can kill whoever's standing close to him, it's a good way to split up the fight. When Mars uses Arena, And let's say that this game drags out if it's a Weaver position 4, which on our stream probably going to be. Weaver gets Aghanim Scepter, then you have healing, so a lot of ways to drag out the team
Oh,
fight.
yeah.
Team
You reset with
Spirits,
time lapse,
turn to
reset
ban.
with that Winter's Curse, Cold Embrace, you've got heals and saves. And AA being banned means there is no way to pierce through those saving abilities that Team Spirit have brought to the table.
When Wyvern was popular, there were a couple of
10
counters
seconds remaining.
considered as the best. I really like Timbersaw, which is banned out in this game.
5 seconds
Lashrak
remaining.
is the one that comes to my mind. The Queen of Pain is good because they have no
Turn to ban.
real ways to deal with Quap, and also they ban out Storm Spirit.
Yeah.
So this might be the support duo because they're just
Feels like
banning
it.
out the heroes that can jump Wyvern, and they have no stuns, they have no silences whatsoever. So these two heroes being banned out make a lot of sense.
10 seconds remaining.
And it's not often that you pick
5 seconds
position
remaining.
1 or 2 heroes that have those guaranteed consistent disables. It does still leave in like the Void Spirit as an
Beastcoast,
example of a
turn
hero
to
that
pick.
we've seen Chris Luck perform on. And if we are expecting the Whisper Mars and the Schofield Tiny, we're still looking for a Stinger hero to come out in this third pick. There's no Lion, no AA. Could go for the Disruptor
Disruptor
again.
again sounds
10
good.
seconds remaining.
Does feel like a pretty good pick. Yeah, you're right. Like
5
displacement against the
seconds
Weaver.
remaining.
And then again, like we're saying, spear, toss, glimpse, displacing your opponents, putting them out of position. But the global silence will come out. Another reset tool, right? You've got resets on resets here. Mars uses Arena, Wyvern uses that Winter's Curse, Global Silence
Even a
arrives.
tossback from Tiny
10 seconds
can save you.
remaining.
So a lot of ways to reset the fight. We might see really prolonged
5
team fights,
seconds remaining.
considering what both teams already have.
Just keep extending. Like there's no nuke damage outside of a tiny combo potentially. Everything else very much chip damage over time. And Sansa, pretty good laner against the Weaver as well. Keep spamming that Arcane
Team
Curse,
Spirits, turn to pick.
make his life difficult. And Team Spirit loving this Tidehunter.
There's no Doom, so that means that Tidehunter, they also didn't pick Disruptor. So this time around, Tidehunter will have a much better game. There's no Enigma.
10
Faceless
seconds
Void
remaining.
is okay-ish. There's no real follow-up.
5
I'm just thinking
seconds
about the
remaining.
counters to the Tidehunter. It's really hard to go into a team fight knowing that Tidehunter will be able to just get the Ravage off.
Oh, TB Winter Wyvern. Blast from the past, picking up a couple of heroes from that Animajor meta. Pretty good at standing his ground and just battling through these
10
team fight
seconds
ultis.
remaining.
I'm just
5
starting to
seconds
wonder
remaining.
if Sansa could be a core hero for Beastcoast. You know, pulling something out of the hat, late stage of the group stage. So we expect this position 5 silencer, but I know
Could-
some players like Limp has toyed with a mid silencer.
Yeah, Chris Luck could be the one playing it. Pure damage from Glaives. You
Good against
become...
TB.
It could be okay. Well, maybe they need to think about it. They still have almost 2 full minutes.
Because you can damage into Cold Embrace as well, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
We used to see OD picked up for that same reason. Well, this is quite often where they pick their K1 hero. Sven's available, not a hero with a great win rate, but K1 does like
don't think you
these
wanna-
beefy boys.
Pick it into TB, into Tide, into Cold Embrace. Okay. There are no stuns. Like, Slark is going to have a free game. So, banning out Lesh. I think Lesh is a great counter to Slark. Or anything that can build into Silence. Queen of Pain, unfortunately, not available.
10 seconds remaining.
And what's another
5
Toronto Tokyo
seconds
hero? Like,
remaining.
the Lash, I think you're absolutely right with that.
Turn to ban.
Kunkka. With X Mark, he can't dark
Yeah.
back that.
And that allows you to play with the Tide, Wyvern, and Weaver running around the map while TB soaks up all the farm in the jungle. So Lesh and Kunkka
Team
potential
Spirits
bans. Lina
turn to
another
ban.
one with just raw nuke power. They could shred through a Slark, especially early on before he buys his stats. Seems pretty difficult, though, to get a read on what exactly Beastcoast are up to. That
10
final pick,
seconds
very,
remaining.
very open for them.
5 seconds.
But if things go as
remaining.
expected, 5 Silencer, 4 Tiny, 3 Mars, and that 1
Beastcoast
position Slark
turn to
leads
ban.
to an Ember Spirit ban by Team Spirit. And again, like you've been saying, just no lockdown means that these slippery, elusive heroes could have been a pain in the backside.
And they put themselves in a really tough spot because you have to protect your
10
TB. You have a
seconds
weakness where both of your supports don't provide you with any kind of lockdown. There is
5
Wyvern's
seconds
curse,
remaining.
Turn to pick.
but we'll see. In the end, Beastcoast decides to ban the Lesh that I mentioned. Makes a lot of sense. The one that build into BKB. Ton of magical damage, and Slark is just afraid to get on top of Lashrak. Always pure damage from the Diabolic Edict, and also ton of
10
magical damage
seconds
pre-BKB.
remaining.
Yeah, and funnily enough, Monkey
5
King
seconds
completely
remaining.
ignored throughout this draft. One of the most popular heroes, just let through the entire phase. Like if this was OG instead of Spirit, I'd say go for like a Gyro or a Monkey mid for Topson.
Beastcoast.
But Toronto
turn
Tokyo
to
is going to grab the Kunkka like you called for. That guaranteed X mark on the Slark. Defensive boat for the Terrorblade. Plenty of team fight there for them.
Yeah, surprised they banned out Lina instead of Kunkka. So matchup on a mid lane against Kunkka.
10 seconds remaining.
They don't have tower damage, so that's the problem for Beast Coast. They're
5
going to need some
seconds
kind of tower
remaining.
damage coming out. Maybe like a Dragonite doesn't seem like a bad idea.
Yeah, pretty tanky boy. Can withstand a lot of the pain.
Yeah, because you don't care about Wyvern. You build into BKB. Terrorblade deals physical damage. You have extra armor coming up from your Dragon's Blood.
I'm still feeling this Silencer mid though, man.
Silencer mid.
I'm still feeling it. But then what do you do then? Do you move things around? It's a Necro.
That's a good Necro pick.
Ooh. Chris Lock Necro into Tide, Kunkka, Terrorblade. You were talking about something that deals with Cold Embrace. You've got that Reaper's Scythe to go straight through it. And again, no stuns, no dispels, no real nuke damage from Team Spirit. How do you kill a Necro once he's got a couple of items?
You have no magical damage whatsoever. Your Kunkka is the only one. I think Beast Coast really outdrafted them. Team Spirit put themselves in a bad spot by picking up Weaver and Wyvern as their 2 supports, and then pick the Tidehunter, which is a long cooldown. If they're looking at the draft right now, they would probably prefer to have something like a Sanking instead of the Tidehunter, because it would fix a lot of their problems.
seconds
Magic damage
remaining.
against the Necro. A good thing is Tidehunter will be able to get the ulti
5
off. All he
seconds
needs to
remaining.
care about is the global silence. So the way for Beast Coast to play around him is ignore Tide and deal with him later.
Like global, then ignore.
Yeah, just go for the rest.
Makes
It's a
sense.
really good Necro game. They have no magical damage whatsoever. He's going to be dealing a lot of issues to both supports, especially Wyvern, who wants to use the Cold Embrace. DB also one of the heroes that love to play on low HP because of Sunder. Necro's going to counter that.
Yeah, no, it's a similar story for the Slark as well, right? Like if Necro's running around with this Whisper Mars causing chaos, Slark's going to get to a point where he is able to get in on top of the Terrorblade and deal with him that way. I know, I mean, maybe it was a couple of patches ago, 6 months ago or so, Beast Coast talked to some of their players, and they view Slark as one of the, not hard counters, but kind of a soft counter to Terrorblade, a hero that is actually able to handle him because of Shadow Dance.
He cannot Sunder. You build into BKB if it's necessary. I don't think he needs to buy an early BKB in this game. Should be a good diffusal game against both supports, against TB. Gives you so much more kill potential. Because Mana Burn also works during Cold Embrace.
Well, here we go with Game 2. Team Spirit victors in Game 1. We'll see if Beast Coast with this potential outdraft
It feels
can
good.
come out strong.
For battle.
Ring of protection there for Chris Lock, as we've been seeing for these mid-Necros. Stinger on that silencer. K1 Slark top lane. And Whisper with Schofield, the Mars and the Tiny heading down south. Mira yet again doing the same job as before. Scouting the mid lane, looking for a ward, gets his vision down early. The rest of the team just in behind him. Collapse, Toronto, Tokyo, and even Yatoro here, with Miposhka getting a right-hand ward in that bottom jungle. So that's going to be able to scout the Tiny when he does rotate and roam into mid. Very important that they give Toronto, Tokyo a good lane here, right? If Kunkka gets crushed, the entire game plan falls apart for Team Spirit.
It's not that easy to go on Kunkka. Different builds on Kunkka, I've seen them not get bottle. When you play against Necro, it means, like, the substitution for bottle is double bracer.
Yeah.
But in this particular game, bottle is a must. There's going to be so much harassment from Necro. Love the build on Chris Luck, I gotta say. Casual Ring of Protection, something that GPK did when he played against Clanks.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it's just pure physical damage coming out from
The
Kunkka.
battle begins.
Schofield. We've seen this before. Arcane Curse and a toss back in. Do they spear him as well? No, it's God's Rebuke to push Miposhka closer to Chris Luck with a Death Pulse and the damage over time. Stinger picks up that first kill of the game.
Good start for Silencer. That means he can buy maybe a healing salve or he can save up for boots. Doesn't have a healing salve. Tidehunter is strong against Slark early on, but you need your position for. You need your position for to start putting in some damage. It's going to be the same lane that Team Spirit played in the previous game, so I expect kind of the same thing. Shukuchi, a Swarm level 2 once you have the Gush. And now, this really benefits K1 because he can start to play a bit more aggressive.
Yeah,
Mira needs to be in the lane.
He's being duked around by Stinger. He will de-ward the small camp with his couple of sentries. Slark's Courier, though, one recipe. It's about to get taken down by Mira. So that return to the lane, like you said, causing some problems for K1. While Stinger is still mid. Is he going to try and get a D-ward going? What's he up to?
He's coming back top.
No, he's not.
Block the big camp. Or, okay, small camp. Never mind.
Now
Both
it comes
small
top.
camps were blocked, but the one got unblocked by that sentry from the Beastcoast, so Necro can farm it. They want to shut down Kunkka as much as they can. Slark, already level 2. Stinger soaked up some experience on the mid lane and also got that first blood.
It feels good to be this good.
Still a 10 and 4 tide, though. With Slark having only 4 CS. He does have a wave coming in under his tower. So K1 will be able to grab up a little bit more farm there. Small camp did spawn before the sentry got placed by the Weaver. But with a large camp open to them, they're going to drag that wave back. Force K1 and Stinger to play further forward than they would like. Miposhka's left that bottom lane, guarding the water runes and even taking it away from Chris Luck's Necro. And that leaves Yatoro straight 1v1 here against the Whisper Mars.
Look at the build on Whisper. He already knows what he's going for. Same build as he did yesterday against Nietzsche Gaming. Meteor Hammer.
Ooh, that stick and salve keeps him alive. Mira has a Shikuchi again in a second. He's just going to chip away at Stinger. As down bottom, it looks like Schofield. He ran forward attempting something. Doesn't launch the toss, and he gets burnt down to about a third of his HP. While
Reflection
Stinger,
plus Arctic Burn is so much damage. Stinger
Is he gonna
in
die?
trouble.
The
2
swarm?
stick charges. Gonna take him down.
he falls. Just the Weaver on his own able to secure that kill, and again leaving K1 in an awkward spot against this Tidehunter. Forced to farm under tower, losing his courier, and Mira might find a secondary one. In behind the tower, full of items here for the Silencer. Should get delivered. Mira might still find the kill on it though, as Ishikuchi's off to the right, but some good damage onto K1 means Stinger has to bully Collapse instead, just to guard his Slark.
Slark is a counter to Tidehunter later on. When you play the lane, Gush plus Anchor Smash is too much. You don't have enough regen. This is the second salve that Silencer already used on Slark. You need to give him also some solo XP, and you can see Stinger trying to get away from the XP so that Slark gets that level 6 and has a bit more regen. That's
Schofield
movement
there.
slow, reflection. Plus Arctic Burn, a bit too much even for Tiny, who has Boots of Speed.
Yeah, not even using Metamorphosis. Just spamming their spells on him. K1 is getting bullied top.
Dire's structures are
Even though
Oh, Glyph mid. He does not want Creep Wave to die. You are not allowed to use Glyph. Most of the time, your mid laner wants to use the first Glyph. Unless you see an opportunity, let's say you're playing Darkseer and you dive the tower,
Yeah.
then it's kind of necessary to get the kill and keep the creeps alive.
Kunkka doing pretty well in that mid lane. Like you said, the bottles allowed him to sustain through a lot of this Heartstop Aurora damage. 27 CS, starting to lag a little bit behind Chris Luck for now. Beastcoast, not without their struggles, but we are still aiming for that 20-minute mark
It feels
when
good.
K1 and Chris Luck start to feel a little stronger.
Dire's bottom tower.
We haven't really felt the impact of this Schofield Tiny yet either. He's left the bottom lane, roams in towards mid. Toronto Tokyo, 700 HP.
Necro level 6 after this, perfect timing.
Good boat,
He
though.
knows, using the boat straight away.
And that means Schofield now in behind enemy lines. Wyvern Courier going to get tapped down by the Tiny. Chris Luck thinks about this target instead. Reaper's Scythe,
Not
no
enough mana.
for it. Torrent will connect as well, while Toronto Tokyo Xmark TP's back home.
You know why I wanted him to play Kunkka? Because I can say Toronto Tokyo. Chris Luck in a bit of
So
a
funny.
trouble.
I had to take a sip of water. Yeah, Chris Luck, he's got Fairy Fire. Limited on the mana though. No more Death Pulse, but a good toss back into the tower.
No mana on Chris Luck.
Yeah, he can't cast any spells, and that means with the Torrent landing and Toronto Tokyo slapping Schofield, should be able to grab up a kill here with that next Tidebringer hit. K1's died meanwhile up at the top lane. Mirror and Collapse diving past tier 1 with a great deep observer ward. Oh, the toss! Schofield dodging the Torrent. Toronto Tokyo is
That's
being
a lot of-
dragged around.
That's a lot of space. Still gonna get a kill, 200 gold. Not too much lost, because Wyvern was collecting XP on the mid lane, and as you said, there was a kill on the top lane. It's super strong lane. Tidehunter plus Weaver, a lot of overtime damage, a lot of minus armor, just the swarm and the gush. It's gonna be very hard for Slark. I see what he has queued up already. Diffusal Blade and Aghanim Scepter might change his mind about Ags. We'll still see if he decides to go for it.
It feels like the one guy having a good lane is Whisper. 38 and 10. Terrorblade 39 and 9, so we're still getting a lot of farm on that Terrorblade, who dips back into the jungle, ditching the bottom lane, playing a Ring of Bassi, it looks like, on Yatoro.
Seen different kind of builds. Either you want to go for Falcon Blade, maybe a casual Sage Mask, but Ring of Bassi is also fine because you are spamming your illusions. This opens up a lot of room for Whisper to play aggressively on the bottom lane. If anyone decides to rotate, that's going to be a kill. He's getting closer to his Meteor Hammer.
Here comes
Top
Schofield
lane.
with Chris Luck, rotating into Collapse. Reaper's Scythe expended there, not sure if it was needed, but it makes damn sure
Oh no,
the
you
tide
you
is
have
dead.
to use it. That's the law. If you rotate with Necro, you're getting the kill.
Oh, and a Fairy's Trinket, nice little prize. The cherry on top there, a neutral item drops. Chris Luck. And they do relieve a lot of that pressure that K1's been feeling.
It feels good.
But look at Team Spirit. Straight into action mid lane. Toronto Tokyo cleaving through with that Tidebringer onto Tiny. And Yatoro pops the Metamorphosis for a push 8 minutes in onto a tier 1 tower.
They placed Observer Ward to get a glimpse of vision if anyone tries to come from the tier 2 tower, and now they see Chris Luck.
Yeah, immediate D-Ward, tower still alive. Mira gets the Shikuchi off, but a Ravage connecting onto the two cores. Whisper Torrent in, down he goes.
Well, Mars thought he was invincible. Infused Raindrop, can't die, suddenly collapse. No hesitation whatsoever. Ravage into Torrent, TB still had meta running and manages to get the tower after that, going into Manta style next, which is gonna be able to get rid of the
tower
Of course,
is under attack.
global silence, which is okay. I mean, you can also go for SNY into a BKB or Manta style into Scotty.
During the draft, it felt like Team Spirit were going to have more laning problems than they are. Right now, they're dominant looking. Making all the right moves, bringing all the numbers they need. Beastcoast relying on some of these stacks to fall back on in the jungle for K1 and Stinger to
Too many
clear.
stacks. K1 needs to be careful. Healing salve popped on him. Coming back to clear the stacks. Finds Trusty Shovel. Same goes
Radiant's bottom
for
tower is
TB.
under attack.
The double shovel. K1 should be okay, but their tower's being pressured. Whisper does get the bottom one with his Meteor Hammer completed. Collapse going up top. Mira finds Stinger
Attack.
in behind the tower. Urn and Swarm. And the final Shikuchi will tap down the Silencer. I don't think they can really turn here. K1 far too low. Not available for fighting.
Toronto Tokyo not messing around this time around on Kunkka. Straight into BKB. Phase boot BKB so that he can get out of the arena. Doesn't care about Necro. Can get rid of the global silence and also use the boat during global on his own team. Whisper. I'm having flashbacks from yesterday's games against Vici. Exact same thing happened. 10 minutes in, he's dropping a Meteor Hammer on your tier 2 tower. Controls the whole jungle. They're very limited with stun, so if someone needs to rotate, that needs to be Kunkka. Whisper already gone.
Yeah, then that Arcane's Blink and the Aghanim Shard as well, right?
Dire's
What he had,
tower is under attack.
what did he have as a neutral item?
Well,
something
he
big as well.
definitely had a neutral item. Don't
did.
remember what, Gary. Pull back.
There's the arena where they've been surrounded. Schofield. He wants to try and avalanche toss this and Whisper. TP's cancelled thanks to Miposhka's Winter's Curse. Finish off the Mars, slowly but surely.
Good body blocks.
Nice spear back, but you're right,
This
the body
is a
blocked.
stun. This is not a body block.
Blocking the piggy. Whisper still alive somehow, but eventually he'll get taken down.
Miposhka did not want to take the kill, but was forced to do it in the end.
Oh! That was nice. Toronto Tokyo angles himself perfectly for that Tidebringer splash to finish off Schofield. Chris Luck wasn't available to save him there. And we've got 3,000 gold saved up on Chris Luck.
That's what I just noticed.
Yeah, he's
Shiva's queued up to be able to reduce the attack speed and healing coming out from Wyvern. This might be the fastest Shiva's. Maybe Tinker can farm a faster Shiva. He also needs a Blink Dagger as a core Tinker. But if he decides to go for it, this is going to be the fastest one, maybe. Still thinking about it.
what are his other
Yo,
options?
get Midas. He should have gone for Midas.
Yeah.
He's committing.
I guess it's a casual plate mail for now, right? No!
Has been killed.
Dragon.
Yikes. Down the drain with your plate mail. Feels bad to be Chris Luck.
So if you kill dragons, now they're more farmed because they got more gold.
Yeah.
So you get more gold. Go gank the dragons.
Pinata effect. Mira with some good
Bottom lane,
courier
Whisper.
control.
Nice
Whisper.
spear and Meteor Hammer plus Arena.
Combos
Overtime
down to
damage.
Koshka, but the Winter's Curse not fast enough. Like you say, burnt alive.
Bit of a mistake. Maybe he could have saved himself, had mana boots ready. Would
It feels
give him enough
good
mana
be
to use
this
Cold
good.
Embrace.
While this is all happening, K1 is still clearing through these stacks that have just been built up and up by Stinger Silencer. Trying to go on Whisper again. The spear missing out. Global Silence comes,
He
but
still
the
timed
X-Mark
it.
still gets dragged back into the boat. Silencer behind Whisper, looking to fight along with Chris Luck. Team Spirit disengage. As the Mars is far too tanky for them to bring down with just 2 heroes. Mid lane, Collapse. Getting avalanched, but he's got that hood buff. Not too bothered about the Slark or the Tiny.
Team Spirit probably thinks Necro is going Radiance, since he's not showing the item, doesn't have anything.
Yeah, he probably could have.
Oh, K1. Diffusal Blade is finished on him, but still needs to be very careful. You are not invincible. This is level 1 pound, so you can get in and out of the fights. 20-second cooldown. A lot of the teams got better at playing against Tiny, because if you shut him down, if you don't get him any early kills, that means that his Blink Dagger is going to be delayed. So at this point of the game, 14 minutes in, he's level 5 and needs to farm 1,000 gold. So very hard for them to, you know, get into something. Curse.
Yeah, and there's the X mark with the Torrent as well. Schofield surrounded, and this is the exact situation you were just explaining. What, 3-4 months before the Animagi, we were seeing 11, 12, 13-minute Blink Daggers on this position for Tiny. And then just start getting later and later. At this rate, it feels like that Blink is going to be like 17 minutes or something like that, maybe even later for Schofield, unless he's given that dedicated farm, a lane for his own.
Miposhka was sitting for such a long time on the bottom lane. This is a position 5 that has Mana Boots and Glimmer Cape.
Yeah, lots of priority for him. It means it's a bit of a slower Spirit Vessel for the Weaver, but it's not a bad timing by any means. The priority for your Winter Wyvern as Mira scouts Beastcoast maneuver. Whisper, clipped by the Torrent, throws the arena, but the Ravage counteracts Beastcoast plan. Chris Luck with a Death Pulse to try and heal them up. Whisper escaping to the right-hand side, but tracked back by Mira.
BKB.
With Toronto Tokyo's BKB, he finds easy picks. Mira's dominating, a double for Weaver. A smoke popped in the middle of the fight, but a two-man Torrent is what Team Spirit needed. Now K1 and Chris Luck in trouble. They pounce forward with the help of the Global and the Scythe. They pick off the Winter Wyvern, but that is not a worthwhile kill to expend so many ultis on.
They also used the Global Silence, managed to get a kill on position 5. Full Shivas finally shown from Necro in that fight. It's a 15-minute Shiva's guard, Gary.
Oh, so fast. Going into Sanj next, so tanking up on Chris Luck. As we see it back, that Ravage timing, spot on from Collapse. They've got so many
Visper
tools.
is putting himself in a really bad spot by channeling that Meteor Hammer. Torrent into X-Mark, into boat, possibly, and they don't have anything against Kunkka BKB at the moment. This Spirit Vessel gonna be pretty big. On Weaver, 2 charges already done.
And not rushing the Angs, aiming Lotus Orb instead.
Wants to be able to get rid of the silences.
Very
And also
important.
potentially bounce back Reaper Sight, which is nice, but mostly because of the Global.
Well, it's been a game of stacking and farming those stacks of East Coast, but they are still 3,000 net worth behind Team Spirit. And due to these team fights in which Spirit are so well able to turn the tides.
Oh, there's the X-Mark.
K1 is going to have to shadow dance here. Still dragged into the boat. Good timing on that Dark Pact.
Still hits
but
the combo.
Surrounded and gets that combo down. K1, second death of the game. Not feeling like he's had too much of an impact here. And Miposhka using that nice little trick. You have that flying vision around your hero. Able to stand next to the cliff top, and you can actually see up the hill without placing any wards there.
Yep. Mira forcing Silencer to TP out. Terrorblade has just been completely free farming, silent in the jungle, even though there are heroes who are more farmed than him. He did not die a single time so far, so that's very impressive. Tiny, how's he looking at? Level 7. We'll have a Blink Dagger after this creep wave.
What is that? 17.5 minutes. Maybe 18. Still needs 40 gold. Come on, Schofield.
Can't farm that big one.
Oh, Chris Luck, help me, please. Go.
Yeah.
Death pulse a wave. Oh, come
Let
on.
me toss you.
Someone's turned into a little piggy. You can hear the squealing. Yatoro, he is isolated up here. TPs are coming very quickly from Spirit, but he's juked them through the trees. The Global Silence comes. Chris Luck and Whisper battling with Collapse, but he holds the Ravage as Schofield, and he's demolished by Toronto Tokyo. Now
Ravage
the Ravage
gonna
to
hit him.
cancel a TP. Whisper's caught out on the left-hand side while Chris Luck chasing Yatoro. Finally, Whisper dies, but this poor Necro, his Reaper Scythe does nothing. There's raindrops and Manta, he just dies.
It's a disaster for Beastcoast. They're still chasing. Man, Toronto Tokyo.
He's toying with them.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, just setting him up for that Tidebringer. Also, Ravage being popped pretty perfectly. And since you popped the meta, you can go inside the pit. There is enough minus armor. There is enough sustain. Beastcoast, what's their big timing? Aghanim Scepter on Slark, it's not a game changer. It allows him to go in and out of the fight.
It honestly feels like their timing should have been through that laning stage, you know, gathering a lead and then moving out with some of these hero counters, the Necro and the Slark, but when you're so far behind, now 7,000 net worth, plus the value of the Aegis.
Your position 4 got completely shut down, so there was no rotations. Kunkka is pretty hard to kill, and the Toronto Tokyo has been really impressive this game. 6-0 and 6, has Helm of Iron Will going into Nullifier next.
Oh, wow.
Just wants to
Fair
ruin
enough.
Necro completely.
Ah, so good. Schofield wants to get some use out of this Blink Dagger. But you can feel that Spirit are just going to group up as 5, play tight-knit, stick together, hold hands. Don't allow anyone to be left alone.
Observer Ward not dewarded.
Radiant are
Next
scanning.
Ravage available in 45. Team Spirit's lineup is cooldown dependent, so they don't need to rush anything. Tide is also gigantic. Full
Yeah.
pipe, and now getting very close to Heaven's Halberd. That's gonna completely disarm Slark. Aghanim Scepter being delivered to him, plus a haste rune.
Yeah, we've nearly got Yules on the Necro as well. But like you were mentioning, this Nullifier on this Toronto Tokyo Kunkka is going to undo everything that he's building. Collapse able just to sit in that mid lane, bodyguard his tower. K1 and Chris Luck get in on top of the Tide, but he is a very big boy. Holds pipe, holds Ravage, waiting for his time to strike. K1 dragged back in, incredibly low. Shadow Dance forced out early on. And Beastcoast lose Schofield as Yatoro able to take him down. A Winter's Curse on the Chris Luck. Yes, there's a global and an arena. Yatoro very low, but he's going to turn with the Sunder. Chris Luck gets off the
There's
shroud,
Ravage.
but the Ravage from Collapse. They do get the scythe down onto Miposhka,
what a play
but they're
from
going
Mira.
to lose everybody. Beastcoast, they've been slain. A 4-for-1. As Silencer is the lone hero surviving everything, and he was miles away from the fight.
Mira uses Shikuchi, gets in front of the Slark, blocks his bounce. They manage to get another kill. Kunkka, also X-Mark on Yatoro, who is steeping and now comes back into the fight. They don't have the answer. They don't have any hero that Tidehunter is afraid of. Slark can't just go in and burn his mana at this point. They managed to get one kill, trying to focus down this TB who's still holding onto Aegis, and there's no counterplay to Tidehunter's Ravage. Yeah, you still have Global Silence. It's not enough to either kill Tidehunter or kill any of the other teammates. 8k gold lead for Team Spirit, that they're actually in full control of this game. I don't see what the big item is on Beastcoast that could make any kind of comeback play.
It feels like they need super long fights. Like every fight has to last 2 minutes for the Slark to get a bunch of essence shift for this damage over time for Chris Luck to come into play. But it's real rough for them. Now Whisper and Stinger, the two big ultis for Beastcoast with that Arena and Global, just haven't been effective whatsoever against Collapse with this Ravage. Chris Luck, is he dead again? Toronto Tokyo's here with a BKB. They chuck out the Shiver's Guard, but Chris Luck is taken down by Collapse. Now the chase is on. Whisper on the run. He tries to get back up to the high ground, throws out the Arena, launches a spear towards them, but the Winter's Curse will drag Schofield in as well. They're being battered back by the Guardians of the
Torrent.
Arena, but the two-man Torrent there, and down they go. Is there another one? K1's been scouted by Mira. Sunder comes out from the Terrorblade to put Mira back up to nearly full HP.
Mira providing vision, so possibly Kunkka can use Torrent. This Nullifier completely ruins Necro, who decided to go in the end for Yule Scepter. It's just not enough damage. It's one of those games where you feel like the game is slipping away from you, but you need to wait. Yeah, I guess they need to try to fight back in 10 minutes until they get some big items on Slark, who has BKB queued up.
But TB just had a butterfly delivered. So even if your problem...
I'm just trying to stay positive, Gary.
know,
you know,
man.
See it from a different angle.
But your problem in the first 23 minutes has been Kunkka, right? Toronto Tokyo 909 just been running at you, Xing, torrenting, catching, killing, and the backup plan, that insurance policy. Terrorblade is the safety net, and they haven't needed him yet. Collapse. Getting tickled by the toss of Tiny. X-Mark boat. And it's going to connect in onto Schofield. And yet again, it is easy pickings. Mira comes in from the back. Finish him off while K1, he is trying. He's trying. Bless his little cotton socks. But
Ravage available.
there's just no chance for K1 to do a damn thing. Nullifier on Chris Luck will obliterate the Necro, and Yatoro comes out with a double kill.
When you use Yule Scepter and it gets nullified, it more looks like a tier 4 neutral item. What's his name? What's the name of the neutral item? The budget cyclone?
Stormcrafter.
There you go.
My brain was a little hamster in
That's
the wheel.
why I have you here, Gary.
There's a monkey with the cymbals going. I can process one thought at a time, Lacoste. Here we go onto the tier 3. I mean, Team Spirit, they just want this one to end, don't they? They've had a lot of fun. 25 minutes of gameplay. Beastcoast with no response to this aggression whatsoever. That's very disciplined of them.
Dire's middle
Very
barracks
passive
under
play from Team Spirit, not looking to finish off the barracks, but they didn't have a creep wave for a little while. So they take the tier 3 and the ranged barracks, while Schofield, well, he thought he was safe.
They come back. Gush plus Reflection, slowing him down. DB Illusions with Butterfly.
Fortified.
Whisper gets a tier 1 tower on the top lane. 15k gold lead.
28-5. Who has those kills? Who has the 5 kills? 1 on Mars, 1 on Silencer, 3 on Necro. 0-11 Tiny. And oh, Chris Luck, not again. No, he's all right. Team Spirit have spread the map. They're playing pretty wide from top to bottom. Plenty of farm to be gathered up. But once we arrive at this TB BKB, there really doesn't feel like a lot that Beastcoast can do.
They don't have to rush anything for the next 2-3 minutes. See when the Roche respawns, fighting inside the pit. There's still no BKBs. Necro's even trying to build a BKB. When you see
Radiant's middle
your
tower
Necro wants to go for a BKB, you know something bad is happening in the team overall.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Simple objectives there for Team Spirit.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
30 seconds of fast spawn on Roche, but at least Beastcoast not down and out. They are moving into that tier 1 mid, gathering up a little bit of gold here and there. Team Spirit might be considering high ground though. Meta at the ready to pull the trigger. Illusion's going to scout the high ground, and Chris Luck walks down to the low ground. Risky maneuver as he's torrented, nullified, and slaughtered by Team Spirit. Does he have buyback? He does.
Everything is available for Team Spirit. Hey,
Schofield trying to de-ward, man.
you need to let it go. I don't think it's time to fight. You don't have the tools to deal with the Tidehunter, this overfarmed TB who has a BKB. There are no abilities that go through magic immunity, so you just have to let it go. Pipe up by Tidehunter.
They might just be calling it soon, honestly. Shredding through objectives. Yatoro with this meta clears through the bottom barracks, can shift in towards mid, as Collapse disarms K1, who still tries to hit him even though he's been hit by the halberd, and now a nice ravage. The Shadow Dance, well timed, but the chain stuns with that torrent. Force him to double pounce away. But your base is in disarray. And another X-Mark boat. It is just continual.
Oh,
Great blink.
Whisper.
Whisper outplays it. This time, Toronto Tokyo not quite perfectly on the mark, but they turn back onto Schofield. Minus armor hit. Arena's there onto Collapse with the spear and the meteor hammer. But Schofield has dropped to Mira. Who's this on the left? K1. Chased down. Good spear again from Whisper. Team Spirit trying to get themselves across here to handle the Slark with
No
Shadow
bounces
Dance
left.
ready. He does get into that invis form. A Winter's Curse though. 3 heroes surrounding Chris Slark. Nullified again. The Necro just not accomplishing anything. And Beastcoast call GG. Not a chance in that game. Incredibly one-sided. Team Spirit taking the 2-0 victory over BC.
This game reminds me of Virtus Pro against EG yesterday, where they got completely outclassed. Team Spirit from start of this game, and this Toronto-Tokyo Kunkka was on point. Yeah, it was a good game for him. They set him up, even though his small camp was blocked, something that Kunkka loves to farm. Good rotations overall, and yeah, Slark on paper sounds like a good counter to the
Yeah.
Tidehunter in the lane. In theory, completely different story. You can't just go in and try to take hits, try to fight him back, because there's too much damage, especially when he's paired up with this strong position for Weaver, who provides you with more damage, more overtime damage once you get to that urn, and also more minus armor.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head in the draft, right? With Weaver and Wyvern as your two supports, you were lacking in terms of stuns,
Yes.
and you were surprised that Lena Ban came out
Instead
of
of
Kunkka,
Kunkka,
because Kunkka
exactly.
was so perfect in X-marking, torrenting, boating. You know, every minute he was looking for kills, but a very convincing 2-0 victory there for Team Spirit over Beastcoast, as we'll move ourselves quickly on. Our next series coming up right after this break. See you in a bit.